Hope everyone is doing well. All right, we are back again, as the girls would say. We are back again, doing a little live, hanging out, chit-chatting, talking about Bravo. Um, and yeah, I'm just here kicking it, just seeing what's going on. I am actually mentally preparing for my birthday. Um, my birthday is on Tuesday. I'll be 31, which is exciting for me. And I'm actually celebrating it. My husband is throwing me a birthday party, which I'm really excited about. And it's not even really the party that has me feeling excited. It's more so just I'm glad to just I don't know. I guess it's just I don't know. I'm just excited to be thought of. But yeah. So I was thinking today maybe we could talk a little Married to Medicine. We could talk a little Real Housewives of Orange County, a little Real Housewives of New Jersey, a little um what was the other show I wanted to talk about? Hi Deborah, what's going on, baby? Why is my phone saying not enough space on device? Do I not have enough space to go live? Is that not allowed now? I don't know what that means. Am I still live? I guess it says live. But hi, how's everyone doing? So yeah, I was thinking that we could do a little Married to Medicine, which for me I feel like is the most underrated show on Bravo and probably one of the most underrated reality show on television. What's going on, Deborah, baby? How you doing today? Mwah. Um, Orange County. I want to talk about Tamara's return. I want to talk about casting. I want to talk about what you guys think. What are your theories? All of that jazz. I want to talk about New Jersey. I want to talk about how this is going to be a great season. I'm great, Barbara. How are you, sweetheart? I hope that you're doing amazing. Thank you so much for asking. Um, I want to talk about all the stuff going on in New Jersey, Melissa and Joe and Teresa and all of that, and how even though the family dynamics in New Jersey are legitimately the definition of toxic, they're the base and the foundation of that show, and it's why it's one of my favorite franchises. There was something else I wanted to talk about too, but I can't remember what it was. So let's dive into Married to Medicine, shall we? Why y'all sleep on Married to Medicine so hard? Because to be honest, I feel like Married to Medicine is legitimately one of the most underrated shows in reality television. I feel like it is one of the best shows ever. I agree. I feel like it's better than a lot of the Housewives franchises. And for me, let me categorize what I love in a franchise. Let me really like specify what I appreciate when it comes to Housewives franchises. What I love is real friendships, real connections, real stories, and consistency, right? I like the fact that the majority of the cast has been there for the entire 9 seasons. And even with Dr. Heavenly, who came in on season two, she was actually in season one. She was just in the background. And she decided not to come on the show the first season. And then when she saw what it is, she decided to go on ahead and get her bag. But I the fact that like these and then Jackie and Simone, they've been friends for over 20 years. Like birthed each other's babies. Like Jackie, like delivered her children. Like their husbands are friends. Like it's that's what I like, right? Which is gonna feed into why I love New Jersey so much. But it's crazy because we what's so great about Married to Medicine today and across the entire 9 seasons is what everyone loved about the first 4, 5 seasons of Atlanta was that it was these homegirls who they felt familiar with each other. They felt like they had known each other for a long time. We got to see them kind of engage in these inside jokes with each other that we weren't privy to, but then we just enjoyed. Kind of like how on season one, when Quad came to the door, and Mariah was like, Miss Quad, she got it, she got it. Like, I feel like that's something they did every time they saw each other, and it just felt like we were like a fly on the wall in these real friendships, right? I feel like Married to Medicine hasn't succumbed to this wheel of just completely overtaking the show with random people who don't know each other, right? If they do add a new person, she may know somebody, she may not. Like, I don't think that Anila really knew Toya before she came on the show. I don't know if Audra really knew Heavenly before she came on the show, but they're bringing them in as friends and maybe including them as a full-time cast member if they work out well enough. But the majority of the people on the show are original cast members. I really appreciate that. I genuinely appreciate that because I feel like we're friends with them. Like, I feel like I'm not in a stalkerish kind of way, not like in a show up at your house type of way, but I genuinely feel like I'm friends with Candy, like, because we've watched them for so long, not in a stand type of way, but just like I've watched their journey for so long in the way that you love your favorite artist. Like, I could say the same thing about Sierra, the singer, because I have watched Sierra since Goodies came out. I remember before Sierra had a song out, she was in Lloyd's Hey Young Girl video. Like, that's how long I've been watching Sierra, right? So that's how you feel about these shows. And I feel like Married to Medicine is the only reality show on Bravo and probably since Mob Wives that was this consistent with a familiar base of people, right? If you want to talk about New Jersey, the reason why I love New Jersey is similar to that. It's because of the family dynamic. You know, in the beginning, it was the whole Manzo thing of, Dina and Carolyn and it being the family, and then Jacqueline was the girl that was married in and all that, da, 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 da. Like, that was genuinely amazing to watch, right? And I think it was because at that point, we had become so accustomed to these family dynamic shows with, the Osbournes and Gene Simmons' family, Jules, Hulk Hogan and his family. All of those shows we had become accustomed to, and we didn't really see a lot of these ensemble reality shows happening. And if we did see another show, it was more so like a dating show, right? So I think that The Housewives was a perfect way to kind of marry that thread of reality television from the family dynamic and people just filming with their kids to people wanting to see what their friend groups were like, right? Um, I can appreciate that. Now, do I think it's sad and I think it's toxic? Absolutely, because I feel like the same reason that Dina and Carolyn aren't speaking and probably will never speak again, and I don't think Dina should ever speak to Carolyn again, but that's a whole nother thing. I think for the reason that those two don't, or for part of the reason why those two don't speak again, because I don't want to say that it's just reality TV as to why those two don't get along. It's definitely deeper than just Bravo cameras. I feel like that's the reason why Teresa and Melissa will never get along. I feel like had Melissa never come on this show, had Joe never come on this show, they may have had a chance of getting along with each other, right? But the fact that they're on the show, she's sharing the platform, and then I feel like for me personally, and this I can't speak for Teresa, but for me, the way they came on this show was a little, it leans into the toxicity, right? Because everybody has confirmed that Teresa didn't know she was coming on that show. If you listen to Reality with the King, Carlos King's podcast, he confirmed that Teresa called him in a damn panic because she didn't know. that they were coming on, and she found out when they were showing up to the christening and da 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 da. And it was a lot. Like, that's not the way to do things. Especially with your sister and your sister-in-law coming on national television and blindsiding your family member like that, and then expecting her to show up at the christening like nothing is happening, like this is all normal. I would've if I were Teresa, I would've come on automatically defensive as well. Make sure you guys go watch Reality with the King, by the way. The Carlos King podcast, it seems like every episode of that podcast is a moment. Like, every time I listen to that podcast, I'm always tweeting Carlos with, like, adulation and applause because Carlos King made a great move when he did that damn podcast. And, new podcast alert too. Th I I'm I'm one of those people that just recommend people's YouTube channels and podcasts when I fall in love with them. Holly Madison and Bridget Marquardt, speaking of reality TV girls, they just dropped the first 2 episodes of their podcast, Girls Next Level, where they are talking about, their time at, that brand at that mansion that I don't know if I can mention on YouTube because Holly can't mention it on YouTube and she gets flagged. And I didn't have nothing to do with the show, but I feel like I'm an easier target, so I don't even want to play those games. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They're going over the episodes of Girls Next Door or whatever, but I think this podcast is so good because it doesn't just start at them watching the first episode of the show and then going, right? They actually go all the way back and they talk about like why they even would want to go to the mansion in the first place, how they got there. They're like telling the entire story of how they ended up at the mansion in the first place and then leaning into when the show started. So they're telling the entire story from when they first, tested for the magazine or when they first got invited to a party all the way up to when the show started, and then I think that's when they're going to start recapping the episodes. Those first 2 episodes are incredible. So make sure you guys go and check out Girls Next Level, Reality with the King podcast, 2 T's in a pod. I'm Nobody's paying me to promote these shows, but these are just podcasts that I genuinely listen to every week. Go listen to Out on the Lanai as well. That's one of my favorite podcasts. They just finished covering all of um the Golden Palace, and they just announced, I believe they're doing like a spin-off of their podcast, The Golden Girls Beyond or something like that. I'll update you guys on that Monday because I'm not doing lives on the weekends. I'm giving myself boundaries. So, um, yeah, go check Out on the Lanai because that is, if you like the Golden Girls, that is just one of the most nostalgic places in the world, and it's such a good time, and they are so funny. And I've been listening to that podcast since the very beginning when they first started covering the original episodes of the Golden Girls, and to listen to the journey now from where they were back then to where they are now, like it's just I love them so much. Like, I'm, like, genuinely just attached to them, which is why I want everybody to go and listen to this podcast with Carrie Doherty and H. Allen Scott, aka Sadie Pines, which is a fierce drag queen. Fierce queen. But bringing this back to reality TV, I feel bad because just as much as Melissa and Joe, I feel bad because I can't feel bad for anybody, is really what I'm trying to get at. I can't feel bad for Teresa because ever since they came on the show, she's done really seemingly malicious and evil shit. But then I can't feel bad for Joe and Melissa because of the way they came on this show was sneaky and snide and conniving. So I wouldn't feel any need to have any loyalty to your ass either because you snuck your way on this show behind my back and expect me to have some sort of familial loyalty to you. That's not okay. But as a decent human being, just because you don't fuck with somebody don't mean that you should come on the show and spread rumors about your brother's wife being a stripper and a whore and all these other things and cheating on her husband and stuff. And then the cousins came on the show, Kathy Wakili and Rosie and all that. How's Rosie? Does anybody follow Rosie on Instagram? Like, I really want to know how she is. She's the only one that I'm like really concerned about. Not like concerned, like, something's wrong, but like she's the one that I'm like, I, she lives rent free in my mind. No shade. Um, let's get to these comments really quick. I'm seeing them pop up and I'm in the middle of sentences, and then I just kind of like think, okay, let me go back. Married to Medicine is the best, is better than the Housewives shows. I agree. Bravo needs to get back to that dynamic. RLBH started with the Richard sisters and their friend groups. Correct. Like it's and to me, I don't know if the Beverly Hills Housewives were necessarily built around the sisters' friend groups or if it was just built around the sisters. Do you get what I mean? Like, they were just the anchors of the show, and then we just built people around them who they were familiar enough with to not be total strangers. But I don't think they were actual real friends with anybody on that show. I think they just kind of knew people in passing from this party, that party, blah 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 blah. But I don't think any of them really knew each other when they came on that show because the way they interacted the first season, they all were acting like they were getting to know each other, not like you know when Kyle said, "You're such a fucking liar, Camille," she said it like she didn't say it like, "Oh, this is somebody who like I've been friends with and like this is a new side of you." She's like, "No, girl, like you're a liar. Like, girl, I don't like you." Like it wasn't like, "Oh, I can't believe who I'm talking to." It was like, "Girl, no. You I don't know who you is and I don't like you and you a liar. So fuck you." Like it was very bad. You know what I mean? So I would love for it to get kind of back to that dynamic, but in like a more organic way. Like if we're gonna bring people on the show and say they're our friends, can they at least actually be their friends, i.e. Garcelle and Cherie Zampino? Like that's the type of organic that I like. Cherie had came on and filmed with her and her other black girl homegirl group her first season, and then she organically came back around. I want to see Cherie and Garcelle film with those same girls again now that they're both on the show and like keep that familial group around because I think Garcelle having that black girl homegirl circle is very important. How you doing, Lauren? Yes, Juicy Scoop is another podcast too. Thank you, Lauren. Juicy Scoop is amazing. I love that podcast too. Listen to it every week. We all have our favorites. I'm missing Chris Franjola right now. So Heather, if you're listening to this, get Chris Franjola back on the show. I feel like Brandy and Julie should be on the show every week. I'm just saying, but I'm saying it like the show is like every day because I watch YouTube every day. Like I watch YouTube like it's literally cable television. So I watch Juicy Scoop multiple times a week, and I feel like Brandy and Julie should just be on all the time, just like Chris Franjola and Justin Martindale too, for that matter. I love the Golden Girls. I watch them every day. Thanks for the suggestion. Anytime. I just, there's just certain types of media. Like I don't watch a lot of traditional television anymore. Like I watch a little scripted stuff, but I have a whole list of stuff that I need to watch. People are begging me to watch P Valley. I still haven't watched it yet. So, you know, I consume media differently. Like I listen to a lot of podcasts. I'm listening to a lot of audiobooks right now. Yo, speaking of audiobooks, I'm listening to The Meaning of Mariah right now. Oh, this book is so good. I'm not even up to where she's met Tommy yet. Like she's still in high school where I am in the book. Where I think she might be she might not even be in high school yet. Um, just go listen to The Meaning of Mariah Carey. Just go listen to it. It's gonna be the best 5, 6 hours of your life. Go listen to The Meaning of Mariah Carey. This book is so good. But yes, I was saying that I don't watch a lot of traditional television, so the stuff that I do consume, I love to put everybody on because it seems like people are coming in and out of waves of podcasting and YouTubing and all that. Da, 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 da. So, you know, if I find a YouTube channel that I fall in love with, I recommend it because usually when I find a channel that I fall in love with, I binge it and I watch everything that's ever been on that channel. Hence why I told you guys about Deeply Superficial yesterday, which is not all one word, by the way. I had to go back and correct that in the comments where I put all the timestamps. Deeply Superficial is not all one word, it's separated. Um, I watched one video of theirs and I literally watched every single thing on their channel. I've watched every video on their channel twice at this point. Excuse me. Ooh, excuse me. I'm drinking grapefruit juice, so that's why I sound gassy. But yeah, y'all make sure to check out on the Lanai, Reality with the King, Two T's in the Pod, um, Angela Yee's Lip Service. Um, what other podcasts am I listening to? The Sewers of Paris with Matt Baum. I'm actually on an episode of the Sewers of Paris under my former drag name Shantae Arnett. So check out the Sewers of Paris. That's one of my favorite podcasts too. I actually just got a notification that they have a new episode out. So go check it. So go check that podcast out. They've been doing that show for so many years, but a great place to start is my episode. Shantae Arnett is my old drag name. Um, go and check it out. I did the podcast maybe like a year or two ago, maybe even longer than that. Um, just look for the Shantae Arnett episode of Sewage Affairs and start there. But you can really start anywhere on that podcast. You can start from the first episode, last episode. You can just scroll through and just pick one blind, and it's going to be a great place to start because the format of the show is queer people talking about the media that changed their lives as queer people. So I started with Josephine Baker and I ran all the way through all the things that led me to where I was at the moment doing drag and making rap music. So check those out as well. Let's see what's going on in the comments. Comments. The line was icon. You're such a fucking liar, and I wish she would have delivered it better. But I like the organicness of like she was almost surprised that she's saying that. Like she's gagged. Like Camille is literally gagging her right now. And she's like, you're such a fucking liar, Camille. It was just so funny. Like, in hindsight, I wish she would have delivered it like she delivered that line to Kim in the limo. "You take that back. You're a liar and an alcoholic." Like, she did that with some authority. She put some bass in her voice when she talked to Kim. When she was talking to Camille, it seemed like she was, like, surprised, like, she didn't know if Camille was gonna slap her or not. So she kinda tread lightly. But I just I mi Listen, I miss the old days of Beverly Hills, but I wish that we could it's not that I miss the old days of Beverly Hills in the sense that I miss the old cast, it's more so that I miss the nostalgic feeling and the energy of the show. I wish that the current cast could get to that energy with the exceptions of Erica Jane and Lisa Rinna. They both can go for me. Diana Jenkins, she can listen. I keep wanting to say, "K your ass back to Bosnia," but I feel like that sounds a lot more problematic than I'm giving it credit for. So I'm not going to like make that joke authoritatively, but I'm just being honest enough to say that that's what I keep wanting to say every time I pause when I say her name. I keep wanting to say that, but I feel like that's not appropriate. Because I just don't like her and in any regard. I don't know why my dogs are barking. Somebody's outside. It's probably somebody bringing mail right now. I don't know. But y'all say hey to Abby and Luna having a fit. But I just feel like these shows have become so much about I'm tired of Housewives Survivor and Housewives Big Brother. Like these housewives shows have become so engulfed and made about strategy, and I'm trying to like overtalk my dog barking and just trying to keep it rolling like nothing's happening. Let me know if it's working. Because usually, if I'm pre-recording this, I would just stop and then just, pick it up when the dogs shut up. But I'm live right now and I'm just trying to roll with it because who knows? Maybe I will actually get to fulfill my dream of hosting the 106 in Park reboot. And I need to show BET that I'm able to be quick and think on my feet and keep it pushing. So, hell, high water, or rabid dogs or not, we're gonna keep this party going. Shout out to the livest audience on TV. Now, I wish that we could get to a more organic dynamic between the women on these shows. I think the women have become such producers on the show and they're so engaged and informed in the perception of the viewers. They know what the producers want, so they're trying to make sure that they have a good show for themselves and for the overall they're trying to keep the show from getting canceled, but they're also trying to secure their spot on the show, and a lot of the times they're trying to get out any bitch that is going to stand in their way from doing that, whether they just don't get along with them or it's somebody who's challenging their authoritative position on the show, right? It's become very battleship. It's become very Survivor, Big Brother, and I don't like it. It just doesn't feel real anymore. Nothing on the show feels real because it feels like everybody is playing chess. Everybody on the show is Bobby Fischer. At this point, and then what's crazy about it is it all becomes really meta because Kyle is the one who said to Lisa Vanderpump, being in a friendship with you is like playing chess with Bobby Fischer. And then just a couple seasons ago, didn't she have a tagline about playing chess? Correct me if I'm wrong, because I think she had a tagline about playing chess not too long ago, and I had an anxiety attack because I was like, "Whoa." It felt like a glitch in the matrix. It legitimately felt like a glitch in the matrix because I was like, "Wait, is this her admitting that did I kill the queen, the Alexander McQueen? Like, is this her saying she got Lisa out of here with her own chess moves?" It felt like that tagline was Kyle saying she beat Lisa Vanderpump at her own game. And now the way that they go back and forth at each other in the press and the way that Kyle is so unbothered by Lisa Vanderpump. Just pay attention and let me know if my, if my theory is crazy. Just pay attention to that. Cause it just seems like she's like, oh, now that Lisa's going, honey. Oh, honey. Oh, honey. Shout out to Trixie Mattel, honey. She took over for the girls. Watch. What it just feels like when them with them standing in that kitchen and my and Kyle wearing those mules and that hat, it seemed like she literally just dethroned her and walked out her house with the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills on her back. That's legit. Like if you now mind you, I talk like this about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills because I watch the show from a producer slash human resources type of perspective. Like, I don't watch the show like an avid viewer. I watch the show like somebody who is watching the show happen behind the scenes. So I talk about the show like I'm on set watching it versus excuse me, like I'm sitting in my bed right now watching it on TV like the rest of y'all. I think because I have such a vapid investment in not just the entertainment industry, but wanting to be a part of it and wanting to be a part of production and things like that, I kind of look at it as a student, unless as just an audience member, right? So it just all feels so calculated. Like thi- this is the Kyle Richards played the biggest game of Housewives chess I think we've ever seen. That's all I'm saying. Hey, Ebony, how are you, love? It's starting to be not so fun to watch. I wish they would break up this little power group that's trying to form. I feel the same way about the Fox News, Fox Force 5. The Fox Force 4, because I like Teddy. And to be honest, I like I like Teddy, I like Dorit, I even like Kyle. The two that I don't like are Renna and Erica Jane. And the reason why is because Kyle produces the show in a way that I don't feel is malicious. I feel like Kyle and Garcelle are doing the exact same thing this season. They're moving the story forward, right? Kyle is getting more of these like shady, memeable moments, these little quotables, and Garcelle is really holding the girls accountable for their actions, right? They're playing the same producer game, but on two completely different spectrums. But that's why we're getting such a great show. But Erica Jane and Renna, they are just the definition of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Mean Girls. Like they just give Mean Girls, they're uncomfortable, they're bitches, and they are so invested in exposing and talking about what everybody else has going on and giving this much of what they have going on. And the only reason Erica is able to get away with it is because she's wrapped up in so many damn lawsuits. Her The only way she's probably on this show is her lawyers probably told her don't mention anything that don't even say the word legal on this show. I feel like the only reason that her lawyers allow her to be on this show is that so she can pay her legal fees. To be perfectly honest, I feel like that's the only reason why her lawyers are like, fine, go ahead, film the damn show. Because billable hours, girl. Billable hours. But they just don't, it's not about friendship with Lisa Rinna and Erica Jane. It is literally just about the show and the chess game and the war of it all. Like those two bitches are playing battleship and I don't like it. I feel like with everybody else, they're all trying to make a good show, but they're all actually present within this real friendship dynamic. I think that it's Erica and Rinna against the rest of them bitches, and anybody can go down. I feel like those two will turn against anybody on the show to save their spot, which shows a level of desperation that I do not aspire to. No shade. Why isn't Kyle bothered that Renna and the other girls are going after her sister? Why wasn't she bothered by that? Why? Because she probably felt like, okay, well, I'm tired of protecting her. Like she said in that limo, I'm tired of protecting you. We've been having your back this whole time. So now you done brought your ass on this reality show. I feel like in the same way, you know you know what, Ebony? Let me talk through this theory. I think Kyle brought Kim Richards on this show in the same way that Kelsey Grammer brought Camille on this show to get her off the tit. I feel like Kelsey wanted to cut the marriage in the relationship, move on, and he did it by giving her this olive branch of creating her own life for herself. And I feel like Kyle wanted to do the exact same thing with Kim Richards. She brought her on the show so she can start making her own money. Maybe she'll see how she looks when she gets a little toasted, and then she'll realize, okay, let me get myself together. And it went so much farther left than Kyle would have even intended, right? I think she really brought her there so that she can stop taking care of her. If you listen to that conversation in the limo, it really kind of opened up a lot for me, saying that we've been taking care of you. My husband's been taking care of you. We've been paying your bills. Blah 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 blah. Like they've been like before they came on the show, they were financing her, and I think that that's why she was so comfortable in season one to be able to say, "We're done. All the help that we've been giving you, we're done." Because now she has this show. Now you can make your own damn money, and if you fuck it up, it's on you. But I feel like the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills was like Kyle's last big offering to Kim, or her last big help to Kim, and it just went a completely different way. I truly feel that way. So when the shit started going on, I feel like she was saying things that I feel like the reason why Kyle didn't defend her more, to your question, is that they were saying things that she thought. And I feel like it's hard to defend something when you can't defend it. Do you get what I mean? Like, they were acknowledging things that she knew were wrong, but because it's her sister, she felt the need to defend her, but she couldn't. So that's where that rock and a hard place comes in. If you're my sister, but you're indefensible right now. I think I'm quoting Kyle at this point in Amsterdam when the whole shit went down and da 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 da. Like, is what I'm saying making sense? Like, and this is just my theory. This is just me being an overly analytical Virgo and paying way too much attention because I think I should have been a sociologist or an anthropologist and just really studied people and really gotten into people's lives. I just really like I it's just fascinating for me. Um I felt sorry. I felt LVP just gave up. She could have won that chess game because LVP was a fan favorite. I felt like LVP gave up because she could. I feel like she played the whole leave while you're on top. Y'all want to I would rather you I would rather leave before you actually take me down and y'all can call it a takedown than the truth ever actually come out while I'm on the show and then I have to leave with my tail tucked between my legs. I feel like Lisa, that was her leaving the show was the last chess move she had left. It was the last chess move she had left because I feel like had she stayed on the show another season, they would have kept digging into that storyline and they would have eventually exposed the real receipts. I feel like her leaving the show really opened, really let it closed it in a way that anything about that will always just be speculation at this point, and the truth may never come out unless they do another Diamonds and Rose book. But I feel like she was able to leave the show without she was able to get out of that without it ever being closed or a real button being put on or she ever being really exposed because she left on her own terms without the truth ever really coming out. And I think at this point too many people had started seeing her for her works and she knew that she couldn't finesse anybody else because that's what she was known for at this point. Did she was it a chess move? Yes. But was it her only chess move? Absolutely. I agree. I don't like Rena and EJ. They just seem malicious and evil. I don't like Diana Jenkins or Cherie either. People are starting to not like Cherie, and I have to catch up on the last few episodes to figure out why people don't like Cherie. Um, I'm not exactly sure why people don't like Cherie, so y'all can drop down in the comments to let me know why y'all don't like Cherie anymore. Diana Jenkins is just a caricature of what they want a housewife to be, and I don't like it. And it's because she's playing this caricature and she doesn't actually know what she's doing. It's like they just kind of gave her the sides, but she's never seen the show, right? So it's like, here's what you're supposed to do, but she's not familiar with the reference material at all. Do you get what I mean? Like it feels like it feels like they gave her the character description for somebody on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and she's playing somebody off a Dynasty. It feels like she's trying to play like one of the girls on Dynasty, like she thinks she's giving Joan Collins right now, and it's like, girl, you need to be given. Do you get what I mean? It's just everything about her just feels fake, forced, and fraudulent when it comes to Diana Jenkins. Like I can't. I agree with that analysis of Kyle and Kim. That's genuinely how I feel. I feel like she brought her on this show to cut the purse strings because I feel like Mauricio was probably tired of taking care of her ass because she was probably drunk and ungrateful. Not not to talk about her like that because she's healthy now, she's doing great. But the way that they carried themselves leads me to have that impression. And since you put the story out there, I'm just going to talk about it retrospectively the way that I was reading it at the time. So, hi. Oh, you look cute. My husband just walked in and he look real sexy right now. All right, tank top.
I'm finna get the stuff out the trunk. I didn't know you was in the middle of one of your videos.
I it's fine. Yeah, yeah, I have to go. My husband is home. Like I said, I'm getting ready for my birthday and he needs my help with something. Yes, I'm back on Twitter. All of my social media handles are that BB Campbell. Campbell like the soup or Naomi, take your pick. But I have to hop off of here. I was actually waiting for him. So we'll come back, hold that thought. We'll come back to this in a little bit. We'll and dissect more of Beverly Hills, New Jersey, and I really want to talk about Orange County. So give me a couple hours, maybe, and we'll see. If I don't come back today, then I'll definitely come back tomorrow, just because I cut this live short and kind of abruptly. But thank y'all so much. I'll be back later, and y'all be good, behave, and be safe.